Top 10 Star Wars YouTube Shorts. Number 10.
Why didn't Obi-Wan train Luke sooner? In Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan takes Luke to Tatooine to hide him from the Empire. Obi-Wan waits 19 years until he starts training Luke, but why didn't he train Luke as a young boy like the Jedi had done to thousands of children? Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi did have the idea of training Luke and Leia from a young age, with Yoda training Leia and him training Luke. However, Yoda rejected this idea, as he believed that the old ways of the Jedi had failed and led the galaxy into the turmoil it was in. If Luke or Leia are to become Jedi, it'll be by their choice.
Number 9.
Why doesn't Bail Organa call Ahsoka to save Leia instead of Obi-Wan? Ahsoka joined the rebellion and was working closely with Bail Organa around the time that Leia was kidnapped in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So why didn't he call Ahsoka instead of taking Kenobi away from watching Luke? Well, Obi-Wan knew how important Leia was. Ahsoka did not know that Organa adopted Anakin's daughter, but Obi-Wan did. This means that Kenobi knew the true importance of Leia and how desperate the situation was. If the Empire found out who Leia really was, then both her, Luke, and the future of the galaxy would be in jeopardy.
Number 8.
Why couldn't Obi-Wan stop Anakin's fall to the dark side? In Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan and Yoda see the hologram of Anakin slaughtering younglings and killing most of the Jedi in the Jedi Temple. When he finally confronts Anakin on Mustafar, he cannot convince Anakin that the dark side will not save Padme, and he is being manipulated by Darth Sidious. But Obi-Wan is like a brother to Anakin, so why is he unable to convince Anakin to return to the light side? Well, Obi-Wan did not fully understand the reasoning behind Anakin's turn. Anakin never shared his dreams about Padme's death, or everything that happened with his mother on Tatooine. Kenobi believed that Anakin had truly turned evil, and did not realize Anakin's motivation to turn was to save the one he loves. After seeing the hologram of Anakin slaughtering younglings and other Jedi, he fully believed that the only person left was Darth Vader.
Number 7.
Why was Darth Plagueis in the Acolyte? As seen in the final episode, Hago Damask, otherwise known as Darth Plagueis, was seen watching Osha leave with Khmer, but why was he there? Well, although it isn't confirmed, it is a common belief that Plagueis played a major role in the Vergence in the Force that was used to create Osha and May. He could have been using the ability to manipulate midichlorians that Palpatine told Anakin about. Later on, when he is watching Osha, he could have realized that Khmer was going to reveal the Sith's presence too early and ruin his master plan to overthrow the Jedi. He was possibly planning to take down the false Sith to hide their identity. Do you think we'll see Plagueis go against Khmer in the second season?
Number 6.
Who was Darth Talon? Darth Talon was a Twi'lek Sith Lord who served as a loyal apprentice to Darth Krayt, over 100 years after Luke Skywalker defeated the Empire. She was known for her red skin, covered with Sith tattoos, and her fierce combat skills. Talon was instrumental in hunting down the last remaining Jedi and enforcing Darth Krayt's rule over the galaxy. Krayt kept the existence of his rebuilt Sith Order hidden from the Jedi for a century by cloaking their presence on Korriban. One of her most significant actions was capturing Cade Skywalker, a descendant of Luke Skywalker, who had the potential to overthrow the Sith. Cade Skywalker eventually kills Talon, stabbing her in the abdomen. Her unwavering loyalty to Darth Krayt and her relentless pursuit of the Jedi made her one of the most feared Sith during this era.
Number 5.
Why did Palpatine work so closely with the Jedi? Sheev Palpatine was the mastermind behind the fall of the Jedi, but decided to work extremely closely with them throughout the Clone Wars. But why if he despised them? Well, there are two reasons. First, Palpatine was very patient and knew that as long as he stuck to his plan, the Jedi Order would fall. So he wanted to mock the Jedi Order for many years, as they would eventually realize that they worked with a Sith Lord throughout the Clone Wars. The second reason is that he knew that the more involved the Jedi got with politics, the more corrupt they would become. This would allow Palpatine to easily sway the opinion of the majority of the galaxy and easily manipulate Jedi like Anakin to turn against the Order.
Number 4.
Why did Obi-Wan let Vader strike him down? In A New Hope, Obi-Wan faces Darth Vader in their final duel. He says to Vader, "If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine." But what did he mean by that? Well, Obi-Wan had been training for decades on Tatooine while watching over Luke Skywalker. During his exile, he communicated with his old master Qui-Gon Jinn to learn how to strengthen his connection with the Force. Through these teachings, he slowly learned how to accomplish immortality after death and later trained Luke, following him throughout the galaxy to become the greatest Jedi and defeat the Empire.
Number 3.
What are the Jedi Trials? The Jedi Trials were mentioned briefly in The Phantom Menace when Obi-Wan says he is ready to face them. But what are the trials? There were 5 parts that proved the Jedi Padawan achieved the rank of Jedi Knight. The first was the Trial of Skill. This shows a basic degree of competency with the lightsaber and with the Force in combat. The second was the Trial of Courage, where the Padawan had to confront their greatest fears. Third was the trial of the flesh, where the Padawan had to sacrifice and prove their commitment to the light side of the Force. The fourth was the trial of the spirit. It was designed to allow the apprentice to resist their emotional weaknesses, so they can let go of their regrets and shortcomings. Lastly, the trial of insight tested the apprentice's ability to resist illusions and deceptions. If the Jedi Padawan completes all of these trials, they achieve the rank of Jedi Knight.
Number 2.
Why aren't Jedi Masters allowed to have more than one Padawan? As seen in The Phantom Menace, the Jedi Code prohibits a Master to have more than one Padawan, although it is believed that this is because they don't want their Masters spreading themselves thin, trying to keep track of multiple apprentices at different skill levels. It is for a more important reason. The Jedi Code restricts attachment, and having multiple Padawans would give them the chance to form a sibling-like attachment between apprentices. Attachment, according to Yoda, would likely lead many Padawans to fear of loss, and eventually to the dark side. This rule was put in place to prevent Padawans from falling to the dark side before they are Jedi Knights, and capable of resisting the temptation.
Number 1.
How did Palpatine become a Sith Lord? Sheev Palpatine moved up the ranks of the Senate, eventually becoming the Supreme Chancellor of the Republic, all while hiding his true identity as a Sith Lord. But how did he become a Sith in the first place? Palpatine was born into the aristocratic House Palpatine on the planet Naboo. As a child, he discovered the Sith by collecting dark side artifacts. 17 years later, Palpatine met Hago Damask, a moon businessman who was actually Darth Plagueis. Plagueis sensed great power in Palpatine and took him on as his apprentice. As part of his training, Palpatine killed his parents and siblings to demonstrate his devotion to the dark side. He then pledged himself to Plagueis' teachings. Palpatine lived a double life for many years, serving as Naboo's ambassador in the Galactic Senate, while learning from Plagueis and training Darth Maul as a Sith assassin. These lessons would allow Sidious to one day take over the entire galaxy.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my other shorts.